Sir, welcome. My name is Matt Fash, Navy Memorial. How you doing?
How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. If I could please have your name and rank.
Felix, Costa. I was an E4 when I got discharged.
Fantastic. And sir, if you could just start us off when you first joined the Navy and just bring us through your naval career.
Well, when I was 17 years old, I enlisted in the Navy Reserves, and then I graduated high school. And then, you know, as a young kid, I was working, and then you have a little disagreement with your parents, girlfriend, so I decided to enlist in the Navy. Enlisted in the Navy, I went to the Brooklyn Navy Yard waiting for orders, and I saw CB's construction battalion, and I had to put three choices. So I put Port One Navy, and then an aircraft carrier, and that's how I got into the CBs. I ended up going to Port One Navy, California, and I went right into heavy equipment school. I'm a heavy equipment operator, and I got out of the school and went right into MCB-5, which was their home base on Navy. And no sooner I was there, we went right over to Okinawa, Japan. I spent my first year at Okinawa, Japan, as a 19-year-old, which was great tour there. And then we became what they called back then, it's probably still that we were the alert battalion, and we almost went to Vietnam right from Okinawa, but being that we were already over there 12 months, they decided to send us home back to California, give us a few months to recuperate, and go through 2 weeks of basic training again in Camp Pendleton with the Marines.
Okay.
Just to get it from. So we went back to the States, and then they were going to let me go out of battalion, and I said, all right, I'll get out. Where were you going to send me? They were going to send me to Adak, Alaska. Well, I was 19. I just had a great time in Okinawa. I said, no. So I went and saw my commanding officer, because I had a bunch of great friends. There was 12 of us close knit. Half of us were Italian, a couple Southerners, all kinds. So I said, sir, can I get back in the battalion? But I want to go over on advance party. They would always send a bunch of us over 3 months early. So he said, no problem. Right back into advance party. And to this day, my mother does not know that I volunteered both times to go to Vietnam. And so we went over to advance party. Spent 15 months over there. And I believed in the war. The people loved us and everything. We were doing great things. The plane landed. I get off, they'd throw us on a cow, what we called a cow truck. It was a tractor with an open trailer on the back, and we were all piled into our gear. First thing you see is a bunch of Viet Cong, you know, and the Marines are over top of them, you know, and I'm like, oh, wow, you know. And you're going down the road to the camp, and you see all these, you know, things going off, or planes shooting and things. Geez, I said, am I ready for this? And we get to the camp, and we're right in front of a big mountain. We didn't know at that time, but on the other side of the mountain was the ammunition dump. It was one of our biggest ammunition dumps. Well, we were next to the Marine interrogating outfit where they interrogated the Viet Cong, and that saw that too. A bunch of Viet Congs getting interrogated. And then across the street from us was, I think, a 6mm Hauser artillery Marines. Well, we found out that night. So here comes nighttime. We're sitting in our bunks. Boom! The shells are going overhead because they're keeping the Viet Cong from going in. And that first year, probably the greatest thing that I thought was, well, probably the best thing to this day, the best person I ever saw in Vietnam was Bob Hope. I mean, I saw him in Okinawa for the first time, which I thought was great, but I couldn't believe that we built the first amphitheater, I think, in Vietnam for him on our base. And he came to our camp and put on a show with Joey Heatherton, Raquel Welch, Jill St. John, and our chief petty officer. He let us sneak, because we worked every day of the week, day and night. So he let a few of us sneak back to camp and see the show. And I was about this far from him, and tremendous man. This day I take my hat off to that man. I don't think there's an entertainer that did what that man did for the American troops. And you know, I saw where we worked along the roads, because my job was run DW-20s, earth movers, hauling. Because we were always attached Marines with General Walt and General Westmoreland that were over there both the times. And along one of the roads that we used to go up and down, there was a medical hospital. And we used to see the poor Marines coming in on choppers, blown to smithereens. I mean, you know, at 19, it's hard to see the relate dead bodies. You know, I mean, the saddest thing I, you know, always said when the war ended was the way it ended. For the poor guys that were home with no legs, no arms, that got killed. I lost seven close friends over there. And but I mean, I met a lot of great guys. Like, that's why I came to this thing. I mean, we were a knit group of people. I mean, even my next door neighbor, we flew Phantoms. And I happened to meet him in Vietnam. It was amazing. You're thousands of miles away, and here's your next door neighbor's son shows up one day. I'm running a bulldozer, and this Jeep comes up, and I see this officer getting out. I said, who's this guy? And he's an officer. But I mean, the Americans were doing great things. The Seabees were doing great things. We saw a lot of bad things, and we saw a lot of good things. We had to be careful because a lot of the Vietnamese were your friends during the day, and they worked on our camps. And then sometimes at night they try to kill you. I mean, you're talking little kids, 4 or 5 years old, that were trying to shoot you. And it's going on in Iraq to this day too. The American people don't realize it. Back then they used human shields. You would see women come walking up to you, and they would have M50s strapped to their backs, and you didn't know it until they got close enough to you. A bunch of it, they'd bend over, and the Viet Cong was right there, just pulling the trigger. And it goes on in Iraq and all these countries. And then we came home.